We're talking about Celsius Network, which is a huge lender in the space. Basically, what they do is broker lending applications for cryptocurrency. If you have some Bitcoin, you can give to them, get some interest, or the other way around. If you want to take out a loan, you can do that, and it's typically backed by crypto. Celsius Network, though, has been getting a lot of attention in the media, mostly because state regulators are looking at them and saying, not sure if that's a security or not, and I don't know if we want you operating in our backyard. So Celsius went and raised $400 million in order to kind of put a buffer between them and all this negative media. Why? Well, there's a lot of checks that are coming in with people's names on those checks. And they are hoping that this round will kind of ease the pressure from all these securities and media headlines and say like, hey, we have a big group of people with a lot of money who are willing to back us. We're a legit organization. We're okay. You can trust us with your money. Nothing's going anywhere. We're a good organization. Interesting to see them do this. Interesting also noting that BlockFi has had a lot of issues as well lately with state regulators. And then from the SEC side, on the federal level, we've seen that Gary Gensler has not loved a lot of these lending projects out there, like Coinbase and like Circle. So Zach, going to throw this to you for your first thoughts on this headline.
Yeah, very interesting timing here, right? Like this is confidence capital. We've heard that before from various firms in the space, but confidence capital here comes directly in contrast to what you alluded to, right? These state securities regulators taking a deep look at whether or not these are products that comply with the letter of the law. So the fact that they were able to raise this funding is really interesting. I believe that Canada's second largest pension fund was involved in this, which is also just a sort of striking signal that Jen up there, those forward-thinking pension funds up there, really
so forward-thinking
up
Europe, up north.
Yeah, Quebec, those Quebecois. But anyway, it was interesting to see that they're involved here, and they think this thing is worth investing in, despite all the bad headlines that are surrounding this project in the last few months. So, going to be interesting to see if they regret this investment. They probably won't, but really interesting to see that in this time of crisis, Celsius is being very cognizant of saying, hey, it's not the 400 million, it's about the people signing the checks. That's pretty much a direct quote from Alex Mashinsky, the CEO of Celsius. And they need a little bit of that fortification as they weather this storm here in the States. So I'm going to toss this to you, Jen. Curious for your thoughts.
I just have a question. So I understand the confidence piece when it comes to consumers and people using the product, but do regulators really care that they were able to raise $400 million from whoever was signing the checks? Like, does the SEC really actually care that much about it to treat this as a buffer, as they're saying in the article?
Probably not. I mean, they already went after Coinbase, right? There's plenty of prominent backers there. Their Lend product was scuttled by SEC action, so probably not. But this headline is a lot better than Celsius got $1 billion from Tether. I'll give them that, and maybe that will allay some concerns in terms of what's backing this project. So I don't know. I don't think it is going to be a silver bullet. It might help on the fringes. It might help move the needle in their favor. Okay, cool. Legitimate backers, serious backers, buttoned up backers, better than the crypto Wild West. Maybe this company is indeed legit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. This has been, Celsius, to their credit, they've been in this game for a while. They provide a service that a lot of people like, and it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to, get their message out to regulators in the States and beyond. I'll toss it to you, Naomi.
Yeah, I just say you shouldn't underestimate the corrupt potential of governments. And when you have people throwing a bunch of money around, politicians tend to look at that and take notice. There's so much palm greasing in Washington that I'm not saying that these companies are involved with that, but I just feel like politicians' ears definitely prick up at the sound of money. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a signaling device that does help when you have like legitimate backers in the space. They can have a lot of sway with different policies being enacted by Congress and with different politicians. So yeah, it could potentially help. It might not be a bad play to throw a bunch of names around. It's also interesting that, we still have just zero clarity from the SEC at a federal level. And so we're just kind of getting this mishmash of different securities regulators and from across all kinds of states. We've got Kentucky, we've got Alabama, New Jersey, Texas, that are all taking shots at Celsius and just defining interest. Earning interest as a security, which is very strange to a lot of crypto people who we just don't see that in the traditional financial sector, where interest is considered a security. It's just considered earning interest. So it'll be interesting to see if we get clarity on that anytime this year. I would presume we're not going to. I think this is going to go well into the next few years into figuring this stuff out. In the meantime, you have companies like Celsius that are providing a very valuable service to people that are they've got to put the reins on and slow things down, which is disappointing to see. But it doesn't seem like they're really slowing with raises like this. So I'm glad to see that they're pushing forward despite all of this uncertainty. But Will, I'll throw it to you.
Just to add to the speculation a little bit more and have some more fun with the conversation, if you take like the worst outcome for Celsius here, I feel like it's just like a few $1 million fine. So if you look at like past cryptocurrency firms that have kind of been slapped by the SEC for doing unregistered securities, which is essentially what they would probably allege this being. That's what most states have kind of been alleging Celsius has been acting here. Again, this is total speculation. But a lot of those cryptocurrency firms were just slapped with a few $100 million fine or even less. I think was that one EOS only got like a $30 million fine, kept rolling along fine, and 24 million. Yeah. So like, Celsius raised 400 million, they pay off the fine and they can start filling out securities applications and then become a security itself and keep going along fine. So I'm more optimistic about this whole scenario, even in like the worst case scenario where Celsius does get fined and where they do get slapped down, like they're still going to be fine as a company. I don't think it changes things too much. But that is kind of my thoughts. Naomi?
I just wanted to say on that note, Will, like I'm not as optimistic as you because I think that the SEC was definitely getting the low-hanging fruit to start off with. They were doing a lot of settling with companies, providing no guidance, and really just setting precedents with which they could pave their way into kind of attacking crypto on the whole. So yes, we have gotten people with a slap on the wrist to start off with, but things have been increasingly heating up. For example, Library has been trying for years to settle with them and they actually refuse. They told Library that there is no way that actually the Library Foundation as it exists can continue to exist because they consider that, to be selling securities. And so it's just, I think that they are really trying to nail a lot of these companies. And they even apparently told Library that they're going to keep fighting them until they basically bankrupt the foundation. And you can find all this on the Library website. So it does seem that the SEC is really kind of drilling down and they don't want a lot of these products to exist. So whether Celsius is in the we'll give you a slap of the wrist camp or on the we're going to destroy you cap has yet to be seen. But it doesn't look like the SEC is doing some good things in this regard.